Hello everyone and welcome to my surprise 1K Q&A. So this last weekend I finally hit 1,000 subscribers here at the Book Refuge and I am so thrilled. I feel so honored that many of you have subscribed to my channel, whether or not you are consistently watching my videos or you only show up when I make one that you like, or whether you constantly comment and talk with me and are a part of my Discord, or you are a ghoster who never does anything. But I'm still glad you're here, and I'm glad that you have stuck around with me. I'm glad that you have just joined me. I'm so happy to have you, and you will forever be part of the OG that was here for 1,000 subscribers. And you can look back at this video when I have millions and millions of subscribers and say I was there back when. So I put up on my Instagram last night and have through the day been asking for questions. I put it up on my Discord for my besties here on YouTube, Booktube, to put out questions to me. So I have a list of about 20 here. I also, this is a bit of a mukbang because I bought myself a cupcake to have as like a present. See, there's pretty flowers. And it's late, so I don't have coffee, but I got myself some cocoa in my Asio coffee mug. Tasty. So I will be devouring some of this. Oh boy. Give myself a nice blue tongue right away. That was not my brightest moment ever. Okay. Please don't unsubscribe. All right. I have my list of questions down here on my laptop, so don't mind me. And if you stick around, there is a giveaway, or I mean, I guess you could skip right to it. There's going to be a giveaway on this video, like I do whenever I hit a milestone, for a $20 Amazon gift card, an e-gift card. So, you know, you can use it for books, you can use it towards Christmas presents, whatever you want to do. So either, you know, stick around for it, or you could be rude and just jump to the end, but there is specific things you need to do for this giveaway. So stick around. But otherwise, let's go ahead. So here we go. The first question is, what are your top 3 favorite genres? And that's a fun one to think about. I mean, honestly, you don't have to think too hard. It's definitely going to be historical romance, YA fantasy, and adult fantasy as the third one. I like YA fantasy better because I don't usually have to think as hard. But I mean, okay, let's step outside of that. Let's go like romance, fantasy, and then sci-fi. Let's do it that way. Then I don't feel so bad for like making them both fantasy, because I do read quite a lot of sci-fi. So adult or YA, whatever. Making this too hard, Jen. It's gonna take us a while. All right, now there's a few questions just about my life. So maybe let's just go through those and then we'll get back to book things, because there's a bunch in a row. Do you have, what do you do for a living? So I've been vague about this before, but I don't really have to keep it a secret. In fact, I'm wearing this shirt right now. I work at the Microsoft office in Fargo, North Dakota. So that's where I work. I won't get into the details of what I do there, but it's a vague enough answer to say that's where I work. I work in technology. That doesn't mean I'm technical, but I work in technology. Do you have any pets? And if I don't, do I want any? So I don't have any pets here. I'm in a pretty small apartment, and I am not home enough where I feel like it's responsible to have a pet. My friends who have pets, they're always having to leave the party early to take care of their pet, or when you travel, you either need to bring your pet or have your pet stay somewhere. But I did grow up with a ton of pets. My parents raise Cocker Spaniels, have since I was like 3 years old, so I was always around pets. I was raised on a farm. Horses, there was pigs at a time, there was cows, there was bunnies, there was even a couple squirrels. And not wild squirrels. We had tame squirrels when I was young. But mostly dogs and horses were the main things. But we've had everything. And so if I could have one here, I would have a dog. Although a cat is usually less maintenance. However, any animal can get kind of mad at you. What I'd be safest having, probably a fish. But I would like to have a dog. I'd like to have a dog who could, you know, really be my friend and do things with me. But it's just not part of my life right now. Maybe when I have a house someday, I would. Cupcake break. And then randomly, when did you move out of your parents' house? So I moved officially out of my parents' house when I moved here to Fargo, which was in the fall, or like, so it was in the summer of 2015. So I've been here 4.5 years. Right after high school, I moved out for college for 2 years, but you're not really like out, like I still came back. And then I lived and went to school for 2 years at home before moving out of here. So I've lived on my own. Well, I had a roommate before, but I've lived out of my parents' house for 4.5 years. So I'm almost 27. You know, I feel like that's a good, like I got out of there at a good age. What is your favorite color? I still think it's purple. I'm more partial to blue these days, but purple, when I see something in a real pretty, like the banner behind my bed, you've seen it sometimes in my clips, or I mean behind my bed, behind my couch is purple, my bedspread is purple, that like dark purple I really like. It's part of the reasons why I still cheer for the Vikings, because I get to wear purple, even though this year the Vikings are doing pretty good. You know it. It's true. It's true. What is your favorite music genre? So I don't know anymore. I don't. For years and years and years, it was country, and I still love country. I will always listen to it. But country is not what I listen to most anymore. I probably listen to like contemporary Christian music and like contemporary, I don't even know what the genre is called. Is it rock? Is it pop? Like pop rock? I don't know. That's probably what I listen to the most, because that's what I listen to when I work out, which is really the only time I listen to music. So that's kind of a weird one, because I've always said country is my favorite, but I don't listen to a ton of country music while I'm working out. So I don't know. Weird answer. And then, what is your favorite animal? I should have paired this one with that. This changes all the time too. I'm usually in the cat family, which is funny. I really love wolves, but I also like big cats. So I like tigers, I like panthers, and I like lions. I'm pretty partial to them. Like the next tattoo I get is going to be a lion. I just like what a lion represents. But I always have a soft spot for a wolf, especially like a wolf companion or a big dog that's partially a dog, partial wolf, like Rolo. I love Rolo from the Outlander series. But yeah, probably a big cat. It was dolphins when I was a kid. I love dolphins. All right, one final one that's like non-book related. This is ridiculous. I literally picked the worst cupcake to eat, guys. What's wrong with me? I am such a Fruit Loop. Okay, the last one is, what is your favorite non-reading activity? So, I mean, I would say it's like watching movies. I love entertainment. Like, you know this. I have lots of videos on my channel that are about movies as well. I love entertainment. I love stories. That's why, you know, that would be my second favorite thing. But otherwise, it really is being with my friends. I am extremely an extrovert. I love being with people, my friends. I love doing things just as much as I love being home. So that's always the tear for me, is I love reading. I read a high volume of things, but I also love being with people, and it's hard to read around people. I make it happen sometimes. You know, I always have a book on my phone or my Kindle with me, or straight up I'll just bring a book with me. But yeah, I really love being with people, being with my friends. There isn't really like an activity. I used to crochet a ton. My grandma taught me when I was young, and I would do that all the time while I was like watching TV or a movie, or when I was with my friends, I would be like crocheting things. But now I get too distracted from it, and it takes me too long to finish a project, so I don't do that anymore. But it is still a skill, and I have taught many people how to do it who still do it, and they do it way better than me now. But anyway, that was random. Okay, into the book questions, all right? So here we go. If you could pick a book to forget all about and then reread it, which would it be? This That is such a good question, and it's so hard. Okay, let's go with the Lunar Chronicles. I really love that series. In fact, I'm rereading that series next year. And it was such a fun story, and I thought it was so clever, and I loved all of the characters, and I love Marissa's writing. It's so just like warm and cozy and just all the things that I love. And I know that I would still love that if I reread it now, because I only, or if I read it for the first time, because I only just read that like 4 years ago. Okay, this one is awesome. Which couple in the Bridgerton series are your favorite? I love this question, but it did stump me, and then I was like, oh, duh. And for me, that is Penelope and Colin. So it's the 4th book. They're in Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, and it's so adorable because in just, I think, the previous book, Colin says something like really rude about Penelope when he thinks she can't hear. And he doesn't mean it the way he says it because they've been friends like their whole lives, but he really hurts her feelings. And then in the next book, you know they're gonna fall in love with each other. And I love how Colin just like admits that he was wrong and that he didn't see her for who she really is. And their love story isn't quite as rushed as some other ones are. And Colin is just such a great guy. Like, one of the things that did come out to me upon my reread is that a few of the brothers aren't the best behaved. And I'm all cool with rakes, but it isn't just rake behavior. It's just kind of like asshole behavior. Pardon me. And Colin just isn't. Like, he's a great guy. He's a wonderful brother. And he's a great friend to Penelope. And that one's really a friends to lovers story, as well as it kind of wraps up a mystery that's been happening in the first half of the series. And so I just love them together. I love how he defends her to her family, who her family loves her. They're just very dismissive of her, and they don't appreciate her as a person, and they just kind of take her for granted. And when Colin realizes he loves her, he shuts that down. He's like, nope, we're not treating Penelope like that anymore. I love her. We're going to treat her with respect. And I just love that about him. So I would say Colin and Penelope, and I cannot wait for their TV show and for me to get to see them be awesome together. What is your least favorite book you've ever read? I'm literally taking the frosting off of this thing. So this one is hard for me to answer too, because I don't usually finish books if I'm not liking them. Like, I'll DNF it, or I will just drop it like it's hot. I don't really finish books I hate. I don't try books that I even think that I'll hate, which sometimes stabs me in the back. And I should have tried this book a long time ago, but other times it really is a good decision to stay away. So I'm going to say Wuthering Heights. It is the most recent book I can think of that I hate. I gave it 1 star, and I gave it 1 star. I gave it 1 star out of spite. Whereas some other books that are just bad books, like, I don't hate them for being a bad book, where Wuthering Heights just pisses me off because so many people love it and I hate it. So check out my rant review of Wuthering Heights if you want to see more. The only anti-PSA I've ever made. Like, I made a PSA, don't read this book, for that one. So that was the thing. What is the first historical romance you ever read? This is a great question, and I can't answer it for 100% accuracy, because I think that maybe I read one before that, but the one I remember distinctly is I read The Hellion Bride by Catherine Coulter. Now, this would not be a book that I loved now. I still own this series, but I kind of refuse to reread it because I remember the stories and I know how problematic they would be. Like, I just know how problematic those stories are. However, it really sparked a love in me. And I've been watching my mom read historical romances like a lot, part of my life. But when I was in 9th grade, me and my best friend, who she'll be coming up shortly because she sent me some questions, we found these in one of our teacher's libraries. She had some historical romances, which probably shouldn't have been in the high school classroom, just saying. But she trusted us as like more mature kids to be able to handle them. And I loved it. I loved the time. I loved the humor. I loved the wittiness. And it really started me on the path. And I read all of Catherine Coulter books over, the next couple years. And she doesn't really write historical romance anymore. And that's probably for the best because they got kind of stale at the end. But I always have a soft spot for her. And I do have the original trilogy of that series for nostalgia purposes. And I actually have that book from Mrs. Colgrove's classroom because when I was in 10th grade, she got rid of all of those books because she was going to be teaching middle school and didn't want to have those. And so she gave me and Shauna all of them that had any like sex scenes in them at all. And so Shauna has one of those originals too. And I'll never get rid of it because it just holds a special place in my heart. So I love that. Do people give you a hard time for reading romance? So this was asked by my sister, Beth, and it made me laugh because we joke about it all the time. For the most part, no. And there's a couple reasons why. Number one, I don't give a crap, so people don't usually tease me about it. Number two, on Booktube, it's been a great thing to be reading historical romance. It's kind of setting me apart in a way, and I can see that only being a good thing for me. A lot of you have found me because of my historical romance content, because when you search historical romance on YouTube, only a handful of booktubers come up, and I want that to change, so I kind of wear it as like a badge of, yeah, I read historical romance and I have a ton of them. The way that I do kind of get teased, and I've actually moved some of my shelves around because of this, is I have my like unread shelf. I have unread books on everything, but the ones I'm most excited to get to, I have just like right over here. And my friends are over a lot, and sometimes someone will grab one and they'll like look at the smut cover and like tease me or whatever. And that doesn't really bother me. But the other night, my friend Jason, his daughter, she was like pulling books off, and he picks it up and starts reading the back to her just loud enough that like everyone can hear what he's reading. And so that kind of embarrassed me that he was reading it to Abigail, who's 1.5. But anyway, people don't really give me a hard time. Sometimes they'll pick it up and look at the smut cover and be like, ooh, but none of them have ever read it. So granted, they probably don't know the content that's really in it. And you just have an idea of your mind of like, a lot of them will say, ooh, my mom reads those or whatever. And I'm just like, that's because your mom probably doesn't have a ton of time to read. And romances are easy to get into and easy to finish. And so your mom probably doesn't have time to read Robert Jordan, even if she would want to, because she's busy taking care of you. So she reads historical romances because they're easy, quick, fun, and they give you a thrill. So there you go. There's my 2 cents about that. And yes, Beth, your husband teases us for reading historical romance. So there you go. What's a comfort book that you come back to year after year? So this just ends up being a list of my favorites. So it's easy to say Harry Potter. Obviously, that's a book where you can pick up any book in the series and just be having a great time, So that for sure. East, obviously, I read East every year without fail. Also, books that I can see going to be comfort books for me is the Illuminae Files. I already have read those books 3 times because they're so fun to go back to and I just enjoy them every time. So I would say those as well. So yeah. What's your favorite book you discovered because of Booktube? That is hands down the Illuminae Files, which I just said. I put off reading those for so long because the platform, the format intimidated me. I didn't think I could possibly like it. it just seemed too weird. The story seemed really complicated and I didn't get what they meant. And then I finally tried it and I haven't regretted it. I've been able to share that with so many people. I feel like it's a great crossover into sci-fi. The audio is so exciting and engaging, and it's easy for people who maybe aren't super comfortable with audiobooks to like ease them in, because it feels like a radio play almost, as well as it's an easy crossover between men and women, which my demographic is almost 98% women. But I have some guy friends who like to read, and the Illuminate files are easy ones to suggest to them because they're exciting, they're fun, there's not an overly amount of romance, and they're just freaking great. So I would definitely say the Illuminate files, but pretty much all the books I've read in the last year and a half have been books I've seen on Booktube, because if it's a popular new book, it's on Booktube somewhere. But also Sarah J. Maas. I probably wouldn't have started her without Booktube. All right, we're getting there. What is your favorite video that you have made so far? I'm really proud of my historical romance tour, which I'll link up above. My bookshelf tour. I've been wanting to do a bookshelf tour, but it's really intimidating to me because I own hundreds of books. And the romance tour was a good place to start since it's just a couple hundred books, and I'm really proud how that turned out, and I had a really great time filming it. Also, I'm really proud of the Bohemian Rhapsody tag that I made, which didn't get a lot of views, but it was a tag that I made that I felt really passionate about. And I love Queen and I love Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's the first tag I made that like ended up with people that I didn't know, because a tag that I made before, it only had one person do. And when I search Bohemian Rhapsody book tag, there's like 8 videos that come up, which I know isn't a ton, but there's like 8 videos that come up that people made who I don't know the person, and that I'm just really proud of that. But also my favorite videos to make are, I mean, the Outlander ones are really fun. Those are really special to me right now. So my Outlander reviews are a fave. What is something that has gotten easier since you started? Probably just filming in front of the camera. I was so awkward. I didn't know where to sit. I didn't know where to look. I had really weird posture. I was really anxious a lot. Although that went away pretty quickly for me, just because in the beginning, no one's really watching you. Just being honest, like you maybe have a handful of people. And I've had people ask me who are very shy, like how I'm able to do it. And it's hard because I'm not really shy. From the first videos I made, I don't mind looking at myself or listening to myself. It's hard to look back at things, especially because, I mean, I've lost a lot of weight since those videos. So when I watch previous videos, I'm just like staring at myself and stuff. But yeah, talking to the cameras got a lot easier because there aren't a ton of people watching me. And everyone's very nice on Booktube. I can count on one hand the very like cruel comments that I've got. And they were mostly on my after video because those are people that aren't on Booktube. They were, you know, fanatic 12-year-old girls who love Harry Styles. So yeah, that's gotten easier. Also just editing. I mean, editing's got a lot easier. I keep things pretty basic, but I do everything on my phone, and that was the thing I was most nervous about, was the editing and actually uploading to YouTube when I first started. I was like, oh, I'll never be able to do that, and that's the easiest part. Coming up with content, that's hard. And yeah, the next question is, what is something that hasn't gotten easier? And that is like coming up with content, trying to stay like fresh, but also consistent. Also, the need to be liked doesn't go away. So that's something I try to be careful. I know where my worth is and I know who I am. And so whether a video gets a certain amount of views or a certain amount of comments, that still hurts you, even though I know it doesn't have an effect on what my value is as a person. But I'd be lying if I said it doesn't affect me. if a video I made that I'm very passionate about doesn't do well, it hurts. And a lot of times, those videos are the ones you love the most. Like for me, that's book reviews. When I get to talk about the book I read in depth, those are my favorite things. Although in my top videos, a lot of those are book reviews. It takes them longer to get to that point because people read books at all different times and they're not always ready for a spoiler review. And so they're not going to watch your video. But that's hard. But not everybody wants to read all the books that you've read, and you just have to deal with it. So that's still kind of hard because you want your videos to do well and you want people to have the same excitement as you do. What has surprised you the most about Booktube? That I have genuine friends in all parts of the world that I care about, that I pray for and that pray for me, that I know about their families, that I want to meet them one day. I mean, I knew the community I was stepping into because I was already a part of it. I just wasn't making the videos, but I do watch tons of people. So I knew how kind people were and how supportive they were and how loving they were. But when you have that turned on you and when you have people willing to invite you in, that's still a surprise that people can stumble across you on the internet and want to spend time with you and send you encouragement. To take the time to write a comment about how they've noticed your weight loss or how they, are really proud of you for an accomplishment you made, or take the time to talk about a book that you love. That is so amazing, and it's more than I ever hoped to get. I thought just my sister and 2 people would watch these. And obviously there's 1,000 of you, so look at that. Thank you all so much for joining me for this. Let's go over the giveaway details real quick. So like I said, I'll be giving away a $20 e-gift card to Amazon. So that means that what I want you to do is I want you to comment on this video, and I would like you to tell me which video of mine brought you to my channel and what videos you'd like to see more of in the new year. That's all you have to do. And then I'm going to give you 3 days. So this video is going up tomorrow, the 11th, and you will have through Friday, the 14th, the end of day, to make a comment down below. And then I will use a random comment generator, and whoever's picked, I will ask you to send me your email, and I will email you the e-gift card, and then you can buy something on Amazon. So thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me. Please make sure you give this a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed, because you need to be subscribed to, I should say that too. You need to be subscribed to win. That would be silly of me not to say that. And yeah, I put up new videos every Monday, Thursday, and sometimes Saturday. And you can watch some more of these videos right now. Bye.